32.
Okay.
He could be like, you waited up for me, but she wasn't waiting up for him. Like, he showed up. I think that's a little weird.
That is odd. Yeah.
But anyway,
definitely written for a movie,
that's
though.
Michael.
But
All
I've
right.
been to book clubs where there was no book reading. We were just drinking.
Here's another one, and people are gonna say versions of this, but the way he said it in the way of time is, it would be nice growing old with you. Adam Sandler, Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
First it's a song, and then he says it. It's such a simple emotion that we have all kind of said versions of this, but it was like, this is how I feel about you now, and this is how I'm going to feel about you, whatever, and like, let's go to that place together. It's a good line.
I like that.
It's a good
That's
emotion.
A good one. Yeah.
You know?
Did we talk about on the last episode the one that I always used on the guys back in the day from Casper? Devin Sawa, when he finally...
We talked about how Devin Sawa was an anagram for...
who was it?
For what's his name's
That
ex-wife?
was one of our
What is
tangents.
Channing Tatum's ex-wife?
Oh, Jenna Dewan.
Jenna Dewan. I
Devin
thought Devin Sawa is an anagram for Jenna
He's still
Dewan.
so cute.
Channing Tatum?
But remember... No, Devin Sawa. But in the movie Casper, he's the ghost, and at one point he comes to life, he becomes the boy, and he gets to kiss Christina Ricci, and who in that moment is like the most... All girls were jealous of her in that moment. And then he just whispers in her ear before she knows that it's him, and he says, "Can I keep you?" And I loved that. It was
I think
just
that's
so
good.
innocent.
Keep.
And especially being a teenager. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it works.
I know.
Girls, it worked.
I think that's
every
a good
time.
line. All right. I have a lot more to get into on these rom-coms. I'm here with Katie Gross. We got to take a quick break, but we will be back right after this. And we are back, and we are doing a little bit of a part two on basically some of the tenets of rom-coms that I think hold up, and I think they're good. So again, to repeat, don't use a movie line on somebody, but break it down to its core. What is it about these characters that you find similarities? And the reason why rom-coms resonate is we all find a familiarity in, they usually overcome some obstacles, and this gets in the way, and that gets in the way, and all that stuff. I'm going to bring up three that we forgot to mention that were the most common ones that were sent in, like, oh my God, these are the best movies ever. Two of them I agree with.
There's so many, though.
I know.
Yeah.
We heard a lot of fandom for Just Friends. Have you ever seen Just Friends?
Just Friends.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh.
It's Amy Smart, and it's in a performance that I think should have won her an Oscar, Anna Faris. She's basically doing a better version of the Paris Hilton character impression that she did in Lost in Translation.
I love her, yeah.
Lost in Translation, which I'm not sure is a rom-com either, but it's awesome. But Just Friends is a fantastic movie.
I've seen it, but I forget.
It's got, Ryan Reynolds is a fat guy in high school and loser, and then he comes back and he's cool, and he's a record. It's just every beat of that movie is funny. It's good. It makes sense. That's the first time, like, it's rare to find a dude that good looking who can also be kind of a goofball in that way. That's a hard leading man thing to pull off.
Yeah.
That movie's fantastic. We heard about that a lot. We heard Crazy Stupid Love a lot.
Okay.
Which is almost like 4 different plots. It's almost, it's a little bit of a screwball comedy. But at its core, it's one of the first of 3 times, I guess, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling have gotten together in a movie, or 4 times they're up to now.
Have they done 4 together now?
They've done at least 3.
Because I thought Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks were up there.
Correct.
But that's for any movie.
We'll get into them in a second.
Okay.
Well, if you go back to like the 30s and the 40s, a lot of people did 7, 8 movies together.
Right.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, I think, have done 3, maybe 4. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan did.
They did 3.
They did at least. Did they do
At
Joe
least 3.
versus the
Rom-coms,
Volcano?
At least they did 3. Yep, that one.
They did.
Sleepless
You Got
in
Mail.
Seattle, and You've Got Mail.
And Harry Met Sally. No, not Harry Met Sally. No, they did. Harry Met Sally's Billy Crystal.
The Volcano.
The Volcano one.
Sleepless in Seattle.
And You Got Mail.
And You Got Mail.
Is Sleepless in Seattle the one where they meet at the top of the Empire State Building?
Yes.
That one's fucking stupid.
I did just
hate
watch that.
that.
I watched that on the actually last night when I was doing my pedicure before I left to come here. It was good because of all the different celebrities that are in it. I honestly forgot Rosie O'Donnell was in there. But it kind of ends abruptly. There's so much build up to them finally meeting, and then
There's an annoying kid,
over.
or is that You Got Mail?
The kid was slightly annoying, yes, in Sleepless in Seattle. Remember, he calls into the radio station,
Yeah,
and he's like, "My mom died, my dad's sad, and we need to fix him."
But people like that.
Yeah, it was cute.
The other one we heard about a lot that somebody said, and I'm not sure if we touched on it or not, was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes.
My problem with that movie is I'm not sure any of those things would make you dump or scare you off from somebody who looked like Kate Hudson. Like, it was like, oh, she was annoying at a game. So what?
That
like,
one makes you so mad.
No, it was like, And then what else did she do? She was like, called him a lot. Like,
she named his penis.
Yeah.
She came over when he was having poker night with the guys.
And she was like, I'm going to call him a million times. All of them are like, not terrible.
I think some guys would like that.
Yeah, I would like that too.
You would?
So the problem with that is like, I'm not sure any of those things. They were like, this is what women tell each other that women think are bad things. I don't know. But she went through a period. So this is what I'm going to get into next. Let's do there's like a Mount Rushmore of rom-com. We'll do the women and then we'll do the men.
Okay.
I think if you say, here's the Mount Rushmore of rom-com of women, I think it is Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure we even talked about Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman is top 3, probably.
Oh, if not number 1. Yeah, absolutely.
If not number 1. Is there a line from Pretty Woman that we should remember, though?
Probably. Oh, my gosh.
My late grandmother loved. She's like,
there's a lot
Richard
of lines
Gere
that I'm
is
totally
something.
thrown off.
Right. There are a lot of lines, but
Yeah.
we remember scenes in Pretty Women. We remember a lot of scenes.
Yeah, I remember the scene where he opens up the box of, was it pearls or something?
that.
And he closes it shut and she laughs. Like, that was actually a real moment that they kept in there.
We remember, we remember that she went back into Rodeo Drive and she made some kind. Like, I don't remember any lines from it. But you remember every.
I'm sure there are.
There's
probably people yelling at us doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
You remember the dress. You remember those kinds of things. Yes.
Every moment. It's weird but there is not a memorable, at least that I can think.
But it's
I'm
like
sure we'll get emails.
a lot of these are a Cinderella story type thing too.
They are, which is man save me kind of things. Yeah. But the flip side of that is a lot of like jackass guy who meets the right girl, and that changes things too. So I don't think rom-coms are particularly sexist. The only sort of sexist part is there's always a friend who's not that hot, but she can be the friend. There's always a friend of the girl that's not that hot. But I think on the Mount Rushmore, obviously
Julia
Meg
Roberts.
Ryan.
Absolutely.
Julia Roberts.
Yep.
Sandra Bullock.
She's in there. I think there's other people ahead of her, though.
Is Drew Barrymore ahead of her?
Yes. And I think there's even someone above in front of her.
Is Reese Witherspoon ahead of her?
She's a little later. Jennifer Aniston.
See, I don't count Jennifer Aniston because I don't think any of the movies, she did a lot of them and they all bombed. They all flopped. Like, she did a lot of movies, Jennifer Aniston, but can we name them?
The Breakup.
Yeah, that sucked, and we talked about that in the last one. That's not a rom-com. That's like a tragedy. Like, they hate each other. It's bad.
It is a romantic comedy. It just doesn't end well at the end.
Yeah, she did.
Probably better for them that they didn't end up.
They tried to force that, which is why we're going to get to the men in a second. I don't stick Vince Vaughn in there either.
Then there was Just Go With It.
Yeah, no memory of it whatsoever.
Okay, let me find one. He's Just Not That Into You. That was based on a book.
She was one of a million people in that movie.
Along Came Polly.
No, is that Sudeikis?
That was in 2004.
Is that Sudeikis?
No, that was
Rudd?
Ben Stiller.
Oh, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Does
I
Cameron
just remember
Diaz
him sweating and
break the Mount Rushmore? She did quite a few. She did My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes.
She did something about Mary.
She was in The Mask. I don't know if that's really a
No,
romantic.
that's not a rom-com.
I know.
I don't think so. I think
handful.
it's Meg Ryan, Sandra Bullock, Drew Barrymore.
Well, I have a list.
And Julia Roberts. I don't want a list. I want you to tell me who you think cracks that list.
I agree with this list. That's why I got the list. There's some other guy. There's a guy in the top 10.
No, we'll get to the guys in a second.
Okay.
But the Drew Barrymore, not only did she have all of those Adam Sandler ones, which I think she had a bunch, she also had music and lyrics, which I like, with Hugh Grant, who is going to be on our male sneak peek. He's on our male Mount Rushmore in a second.
Okay. I agree.
That's a super cute movie.
So, okay, I was going to say something, but I'll shut my mouth.
Well, you can say it.
No, because then we're going to go off on a tangent.
I don't mind tangents. The Great Love Debate's about tangents.
Because I feel like, what do Jennifer Aniston and Drew Barrymore have in common? It's Adam Sandler. How many rom-coms has he done?
Right, but none of the Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler ones anybody remembers. They're all bad. She is a curse. Jennifer Aniston, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, she has made a career about keeping her face on People magazine. Oh, poor Jen. Will she ever find true love? Will she ever get back with Brad? Will she ever have kids?
Will she?
That's a thing, but it doesn't translate to the movies. You know, we don't go see Jennifer Aniston movies. She's not a movie star. She's a famous person.
I'm so glad you said that because I love her in Friends. We all love her in Friends, but I don't love her in a lot of these movies. But I feel like not a lot of people agree with me on that.
Well, a lot of people, George Clooney has not a lot of movies of George Clooney is very successful, even though he's a very famous person too. He put out this whole thing like, I'm a bachelor and I'm never going to get married. He was married. He was divorced like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he pretended that he was like this lifelong bachelor and then suddenly he got married. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like he was
but their
divorced.
personal life very much affects their
Right, but it
professional
doesn't
life.
trickle into either of those movies. But Jennifer Aniston, you named, like, I know she's done 3 or 4 Adam Sandler movies. I can't name one of them. So what does that say? We know the Drew Barrymore
We just know
ones.
they're always in Hawaii filming
Right.
them. Yeah.
She's like, I'll do the Hawaii one. So I don't think she makes it. Those are my 4. Reese Witherspoon could sneak in.
Yeah, for sure. Legally Blonde.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, uh-huh.
There's a few of them. And again, we're leaving out the Audrey Hepburns. We're only going back
It wasn't
to,
a rom-com, but she was in Cruel Intentions, which
That's
was just a
definitely
very
not a
iconic.
rom-com.
It's not rom-com, but it still has that romance, and it's
That's
just,
Ryan.
again, being obsessed with the
Phillippe
90s.
and Selma Blair. That's a good movie.
That was a really good movie.
What year
Very
is
odd.
Fear Before Your Time with Wahlberg? Again, not a rom-com. I think she's in Fear, Reese Witherspoon.
I feel like
right?
I can picture like that VHS at Blockbuster,
That might
but
be an
I don't know
80s
that I've
movie.
seen it. Yeah,
I don't know. All right, on the men's side, obviously Tom Hanks,
yeah,
Hugh Grant
yes.
went through a period of every movie had the same version of him stammering and stumbling, and
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I liked it.
And going-
He had 4 Weddings, a Funeral. He had Notting Hill. He had before mentioned Music and Lyrics. He had a bunch of movies where Hugh Grant was a very big deal, and he's still good today. If you see Hugh Grant show up on the screen, you're going to have a measurable, a good experience.
I would seek out a Hugh Grant movie if he had a new one coming out.
Yeah, so would
go see
I.
it, yeah.
He's aged well.
But I will say, going back to Tom Hanks, watching him the other day in Sleepless in Seattle, and Meg Ryan was just a stunner. She was girl next door, just beautiful. And then there's Tom Hanks, and I don't know. I had a hard time believing
You thought he
it.
couldn't get her.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Tom Hanks, though, did a...
He was a catch in his own way, but I didn't get
He
it.
did a really good rom-com back in the day called Nothing in Common, which is a good movie. It was like his first movie. But he did a movie where Sally Field was his love interest in Punchline, and then she was his mother in Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
That's Hollywood
odd.
for you.
Yeah, that's odd.
So Hugh Grant, Tom Hanks, Sandler. I'm going to put
He
Sandler
has
in there
to
because
be.
every movie, maybe they all follow the same beats, but they're all romantic comedies. Even Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, there's a love interest.
There is.
There always
See,
is.
maybe Adam Sandler almost needs to be number one.
He might be. Adam Sandler's responsible for a lot of men thinking that they can be a goofball and she's eventually going to cave.
I agree with that. I think it works.
I know that is the plot of every Adam Sandler movie. That like, well, that's just the way he is. I think he has had a longer track record than just about anybody. I think the 4th one, at least in recent memory, that has to go on there. I hate to say it because I don't like any of the movies he's in. Is McConaughey. McConaughey had a run where there were quite a few. And a lot of these guys, they graduate from them. Like Tom Hanks should go back and do a romantic comedy. So should Julia. They want to become serious actors and get their Oscars. You know?
But do you think they could go back to rom-coms now?
I think you could.
Would
I
you
think
see
you have
Tom
the
Hanks
cred.
in a rom-com?
I think it's time. Like, Hugh Grant is in, like Guy Ritchie movies now. But Tom Hanks, he's got 2 Oscars. He can go back and do a rom-com.
Maybe in the retirement
McConaughey's
home.
got his Oscar. Go back and do a rom-com. Sandler never got out of the rom-com, and gets a giant check. And I think, is there somebody I'm forgetting that would be like, is Paul Rudd?
He's been in them, but I don't know that I would put him in your top list either.
He's done quite a few over the years, if you add it up. Is he the brother in Clueless?
Yes, he was.
But he's not the dude.
That's my favorite rom-com, is Clueless.
Yeah, Clueless holds up.
But that was a weird storyline. That was a weird plot
But
twist in
is
there.
Clueless a wait, that's the love interest, right? The brother?
Yeah.
Stepbrother.
Eventually, yeah, the stepbrother, right.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Clueless is more of a teen coming of age thing. The what's the one 10 Things I Hate About You? Mm-hmm. Is that Heath Ledger?
Yes.
He died.
Yes.
That kind of cut his run
Wow.
short.
You just got real dark. Yes, you did die. Uh-huh.
He yeah, probably. So he cut it out, and then he also won an Oscar. These people go
He
win
was
Oscars. Julia Roberts won an Oscar. Sandra Bullock won an Oscar. Reese Witherspoon has an Oscar.
Yeah.
Once they go, like, they do rom-coms to get the little box office cachet, and then they go off, it's tough to get them back to